Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Sober Sunday. Here we are, Sunday. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. I don't like it when shirts bunch up. They got to be at least a little loose. I don't like when they're all tight and stuff. There we go. Sporting my Miller gear. It's my last name, so I have to have a Von Miller shirt, even though we played against him last week. Wish he was on the Broncos, but I don't know. I'm also not a football coach for good reasons, because I don't know how they do half of it. Well, the secret is this: if you want people to think that you know football, watch football with people that know less than you. That's the secret to knowing football. Hang out with people that know less than you. That's the secret. Oh, I know enough, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what like a dime package is, or a nickel, or or the shouts. But I know when there's a flag out, I usually can call the penalty. So yeah. Anyway, I don't really have much more to talk about. So I guess football was kind of the thing. I know people don't really want to hear about it though. So we'll go ahead and move on. Should we just go ahead and move on to joke time and get this thing going? I'm kind of tired. I stayed up a little late last night playing video games. So, but I'll be all right. I ain't hungover. All right. I ain't hungover. Give me a second. I'm going to close the door. Thought you were getting in the shower. Michelle says, I'm in trouble when I watch with no one. Why do they get all upset? Or why do you get in trouble? All right, 145 dad jokes that will have the whole family laughing. We'll see, won't we? We'll see. Probably depends on how I tell these. Delish wants to send you notifications. Block. No. Okay. All right. There we go. We're all set up. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one, or a hole in one, or a hole in one. I said that differently. I did. Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it's a soap opera. We've told these ones. Yep. Let's just scroll down. Dear Math, grow up and solve your own problems. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies. I only know 25 letters to the alphabet, but I don't know why. Good stuff. Joe says because they know football, Noah played all the way through middle, high school, and college. Oh, yeah. Nice. Went to all of his game and still don't know shit. Hey, those jokes ain't funny. R? Yeah, since T's right next to R there, I'm presuming jokes are funny. Yeah, they weren't bad, huh? Yeah. I need a back scratcher. Back scratcher! Back scratcher! Back scratcher! Back scratcher! Back scratcher. All right. Ah. Okay. All right. Got that one. Man, okay. It isn't that I don't want to do this. I just, yeah, I don't know. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. I'm your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Yeah, I'm just not with it as much as I usually am, right? So we're going to be in the 12 by 12 again in step 12. It's a different portion though. And we're talking about something a little different. Um, you know, an alcoholic, well, human beings in general like to feel useful. We like to go through the day knowing that that what we did helped or applied or anything like that, right? It's something that I'm trying to get detox to realize that the job sucks, and these people have a deep desire to be useful, but what they're doing is they're going home feeling useless because they can't really help anybody. And I'm trying to help change that, but because of the stigma, having a hard time, getting it done. I will see with this new. I'm taking one more swing at Aurora Mental Health, but everybody else is kind of on hold because till I see reciprocation, I'm not lifting a finger to help the recovery community. I'll keep doing my stuff, so don't worry about that. Okay, but all they need to do is come on the show, tell their stories, and I'll be satisfied. That's all I ask. It's not much. I'm asking for an hour of your time for you to help somebody else out. Okay, it's a win-win for you. And if you decide not to take it, well, then you're not going to get my help. All right. All right. If you want to run your stuff like a business, then I'm going to treat you like a business. All right. So we're going to start on the bottom of page 122 is where we're going to start, okay? So but not so with alcoholics. And the paragraph right before that has to do with, yeah, let's just read it real quick. I'm not going to, so that way we're not lost. Practically everybody in the United States dreams of becoming our president. He wants to be his country's number one man. Yeah, I didn't go through that. I don't want to be that. As he gets older and sees the impossibility of this, he can smile good-naturedly at his childhood dream. In later life, he finds that real happiness is not to be found in just trying to be number one man or even a first rater in the heartbreaking struggle for money, romance, or self-importance. He learns that he can be content as long as he plays well whatever card life deals him. He's still ambitious, but not absurdly so. So because he can now see and act and accept actual reality, he is willing to stay right size. Okay. Now they are not talking about us. The next paragraph is about us, but not so with alcoholics. When AA was quite young, a number of eminent psychologists and doctors made an exhaustive study of a good sized group of so called problem drinkers. Right? I'm going to tell you now, they still do this and they still come up with the same conclusion. So I'm not sure why they continue to do it when we've already done the study. We already know. Trust me, we know. There's no reason to study alcoholism anymore. We have an answer to it. Okay, now if they're looking for a cure on it, good luck. Okay, until they can actually manipulate our DNA, it ain't happening. All right. So the doctors weren't trying to find out how different we were from one another. They sought to find whatever personality traits, if any, this group of alcoholics had in common. I love this part because it's true and funny. This part's probably funnier than any of the jokes that I told. If you can laugh at yourself, right? They finally came up with a conclusion that shocked AA members at the time. Oh, they were shocked. You were shocked. Did, did you do a fourth and fifth step? Because I did, and I wasn't shocked to find this out. These distinguished men had the nerve to say that most alcoholics under investigation were still childish, emotionally sensitive, and grandiose. No shit. I still act that way sometimes. Michelle says they think they're going to find a cure, but you're right on. The latest is through DNA. Yeah, that's the only way it can be cured. Yeah, I've been handing out a lot of information lately that people didn't quite know, like that Samson created rock bottom so that they had something to fight. Yeah. Huh. What does that sound like? It sounds like alcoholism. Yeah. All right. How we alcoholics did resent that verdict. We would not believe that our adult dreams were often truly childish. And considering the rough deal life had given us, we felt it perfectly natural that we were sensitive. As to our grandiose behavior, we insisted that we had been possessed by nothing but a high and legitimate ambition to win the battle of life. And that's not untrue, but it's childish. And until we can see the childishness in it, we will continue acting that way. Right? Now, why do we do this? Because we have a deep desire to be useful. But we think that we have to be the number one person, the person in the spotlight to be useful. And that is where the problem is. That is not true. If the little things kill, then the little things build. Do little things every day. Make your life a little bit better, right? In the years since, however, most of us have come to agree with these doctors. Well, I hope so. We're never going to get through it. All right. We have had a much keener look at ourselves and those about us. We have seen that we were prodded by unreasonable fears or anxieties to making life a business of winning fame, money, and what we thought was leadership. What we thought was leadership. Alcoholics don't, well, it depends on whether they've decided to get better or not. Okay. I've been a leader in a few things, but I was always, well, sometimes I was drinking. But, see, everything I think of, I was kind of in a leadership role, whether I was in jail, whether I wasn't drinking or something. I was always in a leadership role. Now, when I was in jail, that wasn't actually, I was the Boy Scout of fucking jail. I remember it was actually work release. Right. I remember riding on the bus the first day, and this guy's like, "Hey man, are you new?" I'm like, yeah. I'm not like this ain't my first rodeo, but yeah. He's like, you can get away with drinking and smoking weed if you want to. I'll show you how. And I turned to him, okay, and I'm kind of a loud guy, and buses echo. And I said, "Don't ever fucking talk to me again." And I said it really loud, and everybody left me the fuck alone. That's a leadership role. Then they made me podfather. I don't know why. I didn't want it. But depending on what position you're in, what we thought was leadership. Is being a podfather really leadership? Well, you're leading a bunch of criminals, but I was a good example. In fact, they let me out of work release 6, 7 hours early. They usually don't let you go till midnight. And I came walking in. They're like, Miller, go get your stuff. You're out of here. And I said, and this was a Dep that fucked with everybody. I said, Dep, please don't fuck with me today. It's my last day. They're like, okay. I go to sign in, right? Because what you had to do is you had to go in, you had to empty your pockets, then they search you. You got to scan your eyeball when you come in. It was funny because these these things were so polite, right? You'd scan your eyeball and they're like, move a little closer, move a little back. Right? And it was real kind. I'm like, this is jail. Why does it say, yo, motherfucker, get your eye in the front, get your eye up there? What's wrong with you, dumbass? But I go to sign in, and the one that didn't fuck with me, she's all, no, he wasn't kidding, Miller. You're out of here. Which meant thank you for not making our lives harder. And I got out of there earlier. I went directly to the liquor store. By the time I was downtown, I was drunk. All right. All right. Right. So false pride became the reverse side of that ruinous coin marked fear. We simply had to be number one to cover up our deep lying inferiorities. In fitful success, we boasted of greater feats to be done. In defeat, we were bitter. Yeah, we are sore losers. We are sore losers. All right. Because we're all time losers. We all time loser means because of our mental illness, we have the capability of losing everything worthwhile in our life. That doesn't mean your cars, your house. It's people. It's your friends. It's your significant other. It's your children. It's your mother, your father. Right? If we didn't have much any worldly success, we became depressed and cowed. Then people said we were of the inferior type. But now we see ourselves as chips off the same old block. At heart, we have been abnormally fearful. It mattered little whether we had sat on the shore of life drinking ourselves into forgetfulness or plunged in recklessly and willfully beyond our depth and ability. The result was the same. All of us had nearly perished in the sea of alcohol. Yeah, because see, I never had much money. I've never, ever had much money. Okay. And I mean it. I've never had a huge lump of money come to me. I've never I I have lived my entire life from paycheck to paycheck. Even now. Yeah, right. But it doesn't matter. I almost drowned in the sea of alcohol. It was too much for me. I was a person that plunged in recklessly and willfully beyond my depth and ability. That was me. See, there's a spot we can always find ourselves in these books. If you're willing and open-minded, you will hear yourself in these books, right? Because this is a program of taking what you need and leaving the rest. A lot of people, I don't hear that in meetings much anymore. Of course, I haven't really been going to any meetings besides grassroots. So I gotta start checking out some other meetings too. But at the same time, I get everything that I need from grassroots. Yeah. So, all right. But today, in well matured AA, these distorted drives have been restored to something like their true purpose and direction. What is the true purpose and direction? Well, that's God's will. God's will. So there's nothing wrong with your will. There really isn't. I'm sure you have some great intentions. I'm sure you do, man. When we alcoholics start to figure out we're the wrong way, well, I mean, we will 180 that son of a bitch quick, man. We'll turn around and start doing the right thing because we know what the right thing is. But alcohol let me act the fool. I really enjoyed that. there was a part of me that enjoyed it. I have to admit it. The power, the control, the manipulation over other people. That used to get me excited. And what is that? Well, it's sick. Okay. It's distorted. And what was it distorted by? The alcohol. Right. So now that we've been restored to something like our true purpose, we no longer strive to dominate or rule those about us in order to gain self importance. Okay. Now you see a lot of people out there doing this, but yeah, they clearly have not hit. They didn't do the steps. When we have people with 2-3 months going on Instagram telling other people how it's done, and all of a sudden they're an expert, man, we're in trouble. That's like taking. That's like a me being at 13 years old, me being a life coach. It's not any different because you're going to have the same level of maturity, right? Because if you haven't done the work, you are whatever age you started drinking, and you will act that age. There might be a little bit of more maturity in it, but really what you're doing is you're looking for the limelight, and the more you look for the limelight, the harder recovery is going to be. God will provide that. He will put you in situations if that's what you would like to do. He'll put you in the right situations. But if you push it, if you prod it, if you start to promote it, if you have spent money on your reels, that is promoting. You are given something freely. You better give it away freely. God gave you something for free. If you abuse a gift, the grace of God, I don't know what the consequence of that is, and I don't want it. I don't know what it is, but I know it wouldn't be good. I can feel it in my stomach, right? Even right now, just thinking about it, it upsets my stomach. Right? We no longer seek fame and honor in order to be praised. No, because I get praised enough. I do. Everywhere I go, my name is brought up. Dion did this for me. Dion did that for me, and I. It's nice to hear. It is. I'll tell you, I like hearing it. I don't need it all the time because I went and found my own self worth. Now that I know that I'm a good guy, and I tend to forget. Sometimes I forget, and I need to be reminded by my friends on what I do and why I do it. Right. And then so I get a little childish sometimes. And then today I get restored right back to my true purpose. And I don't beat up on myself about it. I just go back to what it is that I was doing. Michelle says, I like sneaking and thinking I was getting away with something. Yeah, it's the fun. That's why we like to utilize the horse thief, because he gets a kick out of stealing horses. Right. So when by devoted service to family, friends, business, or community, we attract widespread affection and are sometimes singled out for posts of greater responsibility and trust. God gave me that. He definitely gave me a greater responsibility of trust because I advocate. And advocating isn't always, hey, these people are over here doing great. No, I advocating is also, no, we are not going this route, and bringing up the hard questions, having the tough discussions. Like, you know, if you open this other detox and you give us what you have, then we're just doubling down on bullshit, right? If you give us the same thing and it ain't working, you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. What is that? Well, it's insanity. Yeah. And we don't do that. Right? So we tried to be humbly grateful and exert ourselves the more in the spirit of love and service. True leadership, we find, depends upon example and not upon vain displays of power or glory. There it is. Right? Now I say this a lot. I don't promote. I mean, coming up on 8 years, there's 2 people here. Now a lot of people are going to listen to it, things like that. I don't have huge numbers. There ain't nobody out there that's gonna be, oh wow, look at those numbers. No, nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna come along and say, oh, look how great Dion's stuff is. I want to promote his stuff. Yeah. Could you imagine? I'm over here, it's like I get approached by like a non-alcoholic beer. Hey Dion, could you promote our non-alcoholic beer? And I came on here and promoted that so I could make money, even though I don't support non-alcoholic beer. Hmm. And none of that's gonna happen. I don't need it to happen. It's perfect the way it is. It's perfect with 2 people here and me. And yeah, what's wrong with that? Still more wonderful is the feeling that we do not have to be specially distinguished among our fellows in order to be useful and profoundly happy. I can't. But another person couldn't make it because they're doing the longest fifth step they've ever done. So that's a right. And I can go back to grassroots about that. I'm just one member in it. Now I get a little bit of credit because I do the hosting, and I'm used to it. But even like last night, sure I did the hosting. Sure but I didn't have to chair. Right. Uh, I took care of the timer, the verifications. But really, what it came down to was the person who told their story. That was the important person in the room yesterday. Yeah, not me. But when we do service work, we make it possible for other people. You know what I like doing? I like doing service work that puts you in the limelight. I like doing that. I want to help you have your 5, 10, 15 minutes of fame. I do. I do it through podcasting. So none of us can be leaders of prominence, nor do we wish to be. Service gladly rendered, obligations squarely met, troubles well accepted or solved with God's help. The knowledge that at home or in the world outside, we are partners in a common effort, right? And what does it tell me to do? That I need to practice these principles in all my affairs. That is the main reason I do not edit anything. You get what you get. And not all my stuff is great. It's not. Some of it's pretty good, but usually I'm stirring the pot or something like that, right? But it is because I have to practice these principles in all my affairs. So when I mess up here or we mess up on, or something happens, we get disrupted because alcoholics hate nothing more than disrupting what they're doing at the moment. We hate it. uh, right. So, but what does it say here? That service gladly rendered, obligations squarely met, troubles well accepted or with God's help. So when trouble comes along while I'm live or during a podcast, we go to God and we solve the problem in front of you because that's good leadership. That is leadership. Okay. The 12 steps and 12 traditions are one long 10th step. It's leadership. It's saying, I tried this. It did not work. Please don't go that route. They're sitting here admitting their faults, so you and I don't have to go through it again. What is that? I think that takes a lot of courage, and I have a shit ton of respect for it. I do. All right. The well understood fact that in God's sight, all human beings are important. The proof that love freely given surely brings a full return. The certainty that we are no longer isolated and alone in self constructed prisons. All right. The surety that we no longer be square pegs in round holes, but can fit and belong in God's scheme of things. These are the permanent and legitimate satisfactions of right living, for which no amount of pomp and circumstance, no heap of material possessions could possibly be substitutes. Now, I tell you, I can sit here and I can tout on this and preach on it, but I will not come close. You have got to experience it yourself. You've got to experience it for yourself. Until then, you're not going to understand it. You're not going to understand the feeling. It's undescribably wonderful. I don't have words for it. Neither did Bill. That means there are no words for it. Some things require no words, they require action and acceptance. So accept the gift, go do service work, and take that gift. True ambition is not what we thought it was. True ambition is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace of God. And what is the grace of God? That gift, that obsession that was lifted. And God gives you that grace every day, every second, every minute of every single day. You are walking under God's grace. So don't fuck with it. Okay? Find what you're good at and go do it. There's all sorts of service work. All sorts. Not all of it is, brewing coffee and chairing and hosting and being a greeter. And no, that's not all of it. You'll find it. You'll find your spot. Maybe you're good at making stuff. Maybe you're artsy, then you can do some things for your local club, or you can do what Amber does. She makes chips and things like that. Service work. All right. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.